Good afternoon, my fellow firewood fanatics. It is late in the afternoon today. I worked in my other business all day today, so I don't have a lot of time today. Got a few hours, and it's been very dry for the last 2 weeks, I think. We haven't had any rain, and tonight and tomorrow we're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches. So what that means is wood that I've had stacked now for a month or 2 or 3, because I stacked some stuff back in the wintertime. Some of the stuff over here, you see that it's starting to get kind of bleached out. It's been exposed for quite a while now to the sun and wind and all that good stuff. And because it hasn't rained now in quite a while, today's the day that I'm going to start doing some covering. I did a couple pieces already back over here. All this stuff right here, I want to get some covering. I'm just going to cover the top. I usually just do the top here. I'll show you what I did back here. This I just got done with, and I decided I might as well record a little bit of this. But this is some cherry back here that I've got covered. As you can see, there's a few rows, and I've got some plastic, black plastic over it. I've also got some tarps. All I cover is just the top. I just leave the sides open like this. And I covered some of this back here. This is basswood that I cut last fall and split kind of late in the fall. It's been open until now, and now I want to kind of keep it covered so it doesn't, because it's a pretty big block of wood there, and basswood absorbs water. It's kind of like a sponge. So I got that covered, and I'm going to continue covering all of this stuff here. I'm going to cover some stuff over there. I'm going to cover a bunch of this, and kind of just keep going this direction up to where I got some new wood. So first thing I'm going to start covering is this stuff right here, these single face cord rows. I'm going to get these all covered with some covering, whether it's tarps or plastic. I've got a bunch of tarps. You can see some right there, and then back over here behind this new wood that I just got, I got tarps laying over here, and I got a big pile of tarps stuffed back in here in this corner. So I got all this stuff here that I can use, and when I run out, I'll just get some more and then just keep covering. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to cover wood today, which needs to get done. So here we go. It's wood covering day today. So one other thing that I thought I should mention is I only cover the top. And some of you might say, why would you only cover the top? Because rain can hit everywhere. Well, the water flows down. So all I want it to do is to go off the end so it doesn't go down in the middle of the wood. I want it to flow off the edges, and it's okay if the edge of the wood gets wet. I just don't want it to get wet in the center of the pile, because you want the wood to breathe, which is why I like the crisscrossing like this, because there's a lot of space in there and the wood can breathe very well because you got all the air flowing through the holes and all the way over. So that is why I'm going to be stacking. So, I mean stack by covering the stacks with the plastic. So what I'll generally do is just go to the edge, and I should walk back here and show you, seeing as I just got these done. If I get a piece of plastic that's a little too big, what I'll do is I'll just tuck the plastic underneath some of the pieces. I'll lift up 4 or 5 pieces like you see right here, and I'll just tuck it underneath here, and along the edge there you can see I got some tucking on that one. Let's see if I got any down here where it's tucked. Yeah, right down in here you can see there's some that's tucked too. I just tuck it underneath a couple pieces like that, and then put some stuff on top of it so that the water can flow off of it, and keep it so that the sides are open all the way around so that it can breathe, and not have any condensation get trapped in there, whether the wood condensation is coming up or out. You don't want to have your plastic or your tarps, especially on the sides, especially down to the ground, because there's moisture constantly coming up from the ground too. So you basically want the whole thing to breathe as much as possible, so you get as much airflow and as much sun as possible, because those are the 2 things that dry wood, is air and sun. Rain not so much. So that's what we're trying to keep off, is the rain. So now we're going to do some covering. Here we go. So there it is, one is done. Now I got another couple hundred to do. So generally what I do is I just cut the plastic so that it's, you know, close to the same width as the top. If it hangs over a little bit, I just tuck it underneath like this and then put some chunks of wood on top all the way around. You see here where it's tucked under, I just put a piece so it's tucked under. As long as you don't have a big flap, the wind won't catch it then. And the one thing you got to watch for is that you don't want any low spots in the middle. You want to make sure that it can flow off, like right here. This comes down, this comes down, this comes down. You want it so that these top ones aren't sitting in a puddle of water. And yes, you got to check them every once in a while. After a heavy rain, I'll come out and I'll just look and say, oh yeah, there's a low spot right there. So I'll shove a piece underneath and put another one on top and get it so that the top ones aren't sitting in a big pool of water, soaking up water. Because these actually, as long as the water drains up from underneath them, actually dry really, really well up on top of there. So it's not a problem. So that's about all I do. And yeah, so there you go. And if those of you that might ask why clear plastic versus black plastic, doesn't matter. I just buy the thickest stuff I can get mill wise. I like a 6 mil. I think 6 mil is what I usually get because it comes in 4 and 6 or 4.5 or something like that. But thicker is better. And I usually get 2, sometimes 3 years out of a piece. As long as you don't try pulling it out and having it get caught on one of the chunks of wood, it won't rip on you then. But yeah, you can get quite a bit of use out of it. I would say for sure 2 years, sometimes 3 years. And the black, I don't know if it matters. I would imagine some sunlight gets down through there, so maybe it cooks better in the clear, where sun can get down through the clear and bake it a little better. I don't know. I have no idea. And the black, obviously, soaks up the heat from the sun, so maybe all that heat radiates out somehow and that helps. I don't know, but this is what I do. So now we're gonna go cover a bunch more of them because I got more plastic. So here we go again. Well, things are progressing nicely. I had to get my step ladder out. It's just an 8-footer, but I had to get it out because these are piles that I've got that are like 8 feet high. As you can see, that's I think it's a 7-foot board right there, that brown one you can see right there. So you can see that they're pretty high. So I just got the tops covered again, as you can see. And what I've been doing is on these longer ones that are like 16 feet long, the plastic as I'm cutting it is actually got a seam in the middle. It's not a seam, it's just, they're 2 pieces. And what you got to make sure you do is you overlap. You put the lower one underneath and the high one over the top so that it can drain out, so it doesn't drain down into the middle. And then if it's too short, I always leave the ends open like this, because all this section right here is all crisscrossed, and the same on the other ends too. So if you're running a little short, just leave a little bit of space on the ends, because that stuff is going to breathe really well. Plus, it's going to catch the wind from all 3 sides and the top, and the sun is going to be on it, and you got all those openings with the crisscrossing. So I'm out of plastic. That's all I had. I just had one roll. You can see the stuff over there that I did. And so now I'm getting out my tarps. And the tarps I get from a guy that he buys them in bulk from a sign company. And these are the heavy duty ones. I mean, it's a car billboard. That's what it was, billboard signage. They're heavy duty tarps. And there's 3 different thicknesses. And these are the either heavyweight or middleweight. They're way better than just your average tarp that you would buy like at a supply store or whatever. Around here we got Menards and Fleet Farm, and the tarps are just real light, thin, chintzy, crappy. They'll rip apart in 1 year. These here, I've had these for 2 years already. Or no, this I bought last year. This one is from about 3 years ago. You can see it's starting to get tore up. Usually it's the wind that'll do it as it moves. Here's another one that's nice and heavy duty, but that is not what is best. The plastic is good, that'll last a couple of years. These will last 2 or 3 years, but what's by far the best that I've ever found is right here. Swimming pool material. That's what that is. Like above ground kiddie type pools, but bigger ones. If you find any of those laying alongside of the road, scarf them up. That is the toughest material there is. Super strong, and it's flexible. It just works really well. It's a little stiffer, so it's easier to get up there and to fight the wind and everything. But swimming pool material works fantastic. I got a bunch of it. This is the only stuff I got right here, but I got a bunch on the other side, and that stuff works great. So there you go, another tipperoni later. Well, I am now at a different part of my wood yard. I have a bunch of rows of oak here that are stacked in full cord sections, and when you stack the wood in a full cord, obviously it's 8 feet long, 4 feet wide, 4 feet high, and if you have access to some cutoffs from some sheds that are being built with material that looks like this, they work great. That was loud. So yeah, I got one down the other end. I just put some chunks of wood on top, and then I take the next one and put it right into where the joint would be, like that. And again, it doesn't matter if it covers the whole thing. I just want to get most of the rain from going, into the middle. So if it goes off the side, it's fine. So those work good too. And here's another one. I think these sections that I got here are, if I remember right, they're like 40 inches or something like that. And so then here is another one. And obviously I've got a slope going here, so that when you look at it, it goes downhill from here. It's actually sloped down, so the water runs off that end or off the sides. So there you go. Those are also free. I just got those at the side of a road. Somebody was throwing them out. I've also picked them up in dumps a couple times, and I've gone there to throw stuff out. I'll see some of these, and I'll just grab them and throw them in. So you gotta just keep your eyes open and always be looking for them. If you know someone who's putting up a shed, always check and see if they got any extra ones, because sometimes you can get these in full runs because people have them and they don't want to save them, and they'll just chuck them or give them to you. So another thing that my dad does is, over the years, he's collected tin sections from roofs, from old, like barns and old sheds and buildings. So he has tin covering all his wood, and that's what he's used for years. I have so much though, I'd have to have truckloads of it. The tarps work fine. They're not ideal, but they work pretty good. Like I said before, the one I like best is the swimming pool. So if you're ever driving down the road and you see a swimming pool out by the garbage or the side of the road, grab it. Also, cruise Craigslist. Look for free stuff. Just look at it every once in a while. See if you can find any swimming pools in there. Or just look up on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. Look up free stuff, swimming pools. And a lot of people, when their kids get older, they'll just chuck them, even at a garage sale. A lot of times they just have them out at the end. Now, you don't want those little tiny pools that are really plasticky, crinkly, the softer type plastic ones. You want the plastic that is got some weave into it. There's actually nylon threads in it, and it's coated on both sides, much stronger. So that stuff is excellent. So anyway, there you go. There's that one. All I gotta do now is just throw some chunks of wood up on top of there, and it'll be good to go. One word of advice though is, if you do use tins of any size, you got to put quite a bit of weight on top of them, because if that wind catches, it'll flip it all over. My dad, quite often, he will use cement blocks, because that's nice and heavy and it holds them down really well. So there you go, another Tipolinski. So there it is, covered. And you definitely got to put some weight onto it, or the wind will catch it and rip it off like a cheap prom dress. It'll be gone seconds flat. You don't want that, especially with your wood. You got to protect your wood, just like your daughters. So there you go. Well, firewood fanatics, I am done for the day. It is about 8:30. The sun set a little while ago. I got a bunch of stuff covered. I didn't get it all done. I got maybe half is all. Been nice to have an extra set of hands to pull the tarps over. I'll show you what I got done. I started somewhere up over here, and I got this one covered here, and this one, and this one, and this one, and some of this one. And I didn't get all this. I got a little hole there yet I gotta get. Down here, this is all oak we've been walking past. And then this little patch down here is basswood. And then this little patch, I got some of this covered. This is cherry. So I got some of the cherry covered. And I got some of this oak over here covered. This stuff's the oldest stuff I have. This is from last, I think, September I cut this, so it's pretty old. And this is locust right here. That I got to get covered soon. And then the other stuff I did is on this side. These are the single row face cord piles you can see here. I got these covered. And then I came over here to the big ones, and I got these covered through here up to this one. So now I got these to do, and then all that over there to do, all the stuff that's way over on the other side. But I got most of it done that I could have had time for and had tarps for, so tired and hungry. That is it for today. Thanks for watching. Please poke some buttons, the like, subscribe, poke them, smash them, hit them, kick them, whatever you want to do. It'd be good if you did, and I'll be back tomorrow, same wood time, same wood channel. It's time to say good night to Grandma Irene. Good night.